Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are looking at the single oldest footage I could find of Nikola Jokić. This is of Nikola Jokić, equivalent of their high school, maybe even like equivalent to like this ninth grade year, something like that. He is this number 9 right here. This is in 2012 or 2013. So he would have been ballpark 13 years old at this time. We're going to look through some of the things he did well, some of the things he did poorly. We're going to go through transition, his shooting, defense, post-ups, and driving, and see how all of those potentially led to him being the great player he is today. Let's go. We're going to start off with transition. And so this, in transition right here, if we see him catch the ball, him looking ahead immediately is something you love to see from an early age. Notice that right there, a lot of post players will be like, oh, I got to find the point guard. I got to immediately pass it off. His first thought, even from a young age, is to put the ball on the floor and look ahead to push it. Absolutely love that, even though he actually ended up turning it over right there. The thing is, even at this young age, it's crucial that you get into the mindset where you are somebody that can bring the ball up or push the ball forward instead of simply being complacent to pass the ball away, even if it leads to some mistakes in the first place. So right there, we can see Jokić stayed along, instantly looking to move the ball across and pass the ball ahead. And actually a pretty good possession from this team on this possession, simply getting to a layup at the end. And then this is actually what we see most reminiscent of what I feel like Jokić provides today, is as soon as he gets this ball, we saw a player leak out. And so he's instantly looking to 1-2 dribbles and immediately push the ball ahead. And you gotta love that. Like, that's a great pass and takes advantage of the defense being lackadaisical. And like I said, like simply him having the confidence and aggression to at an early age just simply bring the ball up himself is 100% a great sign that he is able to handle the ball. He knows what he's doing. He builds that confidence, so he uses this to build up and improve all the way up to handling the ball really well at an NBA level right now. And the second area we're going to look at is shooting threes. And so this is one actually interesting area because I've talked about him and how he's kind of changed the way he shoots threes this year. Is he shoots a lot more high volume and he's shooting them at a crazy high percentage. And so I was curious at a young age, how well did he shoot threes? And in this game, he actually struggled a lot. He went like 0 for 6, 0 for 7, something like that. And these are clean looks that he was getting because they sagged off a little bit. But I think it's important that he had the confidence to shoot them. But I think it's also really, really important. So we notice his defenders helping down. So he's wide open right over here. We notice it's really important that he developed this aspect of the game. He understood where the flaw was and what he needed to do to address it. And so make it so he had more room on the inside. And so it's something super important that he worked at this. So if we look at his regular season stats, so this is from his young age from 12 to 14, he was shooting at essentially around a 31%. So this is obviously 31% isn't bad, but it's not great, especially with a relatively low volume on his shots. And if we go to compare that to what this is currently at the time of this making, which is March 2nd, is he is shooting 4.5 threes per game and hitting them at 44%. That is a huge step up, and that is absolutely great to see. In the last 3 years combined, we see 38%, 36%, and 44%. So that shows that Nikola understands where his game was weak and his desire to address it to rectify those issues. So then we go to this other game, the other area his game is potentially weak, and this is something that NBA defenses really try to exploit, but I don't think really have as much success as it's kind of made out to be. And that's going to be his defense on drives. So obviously, he's going to be one of the slower moving players on the court, maybe the single slowest moving player on the court. But we're going to watch him against some of these drives right here. So here, he essentially is going to get switched onto this guard. So because the guard switched around or the screener switched around, this guard is going to be coming downhill and Jokić is going to be the last line of defense. So I'd say one of the big things there is he was a little bit slow to get into the right spot. He was slow to recognize that the drive was occurring, and so that put him a step behind, and he doesn't have the ability to make up for that step simply because he doesn't have the foot speed. But this is something you simply don't see very often in the NBA, except with maybe very specific examples. But here again, Jokić having to close out here. And so this is where Jokić, I think, has done a much better job, is he clearly has no chance to stop before this player drives right here because he's closing out too aggressively. And I think he does a good job acknowledging where his strengths and weaknesses are so that he's able to adjust in the NBA and make it so he's not in a situation where he's one-on-one with John Morant or one-on-one with an elite guard in the first place. He puts himself in a position where he can make successful decisions, such as in the post right here. So here, as the player is posting up, he simply understands that he has length, and when this player goes to put the ball down, all he does is simply poke the ball out from behind and understands you don't have to hit hard and risk it in the foul. If you just knock it loose just a little bit, it creates a little turnover because the player loses handle of the ball. I think this is a big reason why in the NBA teams often really try and target Jokić in like the pick and roll or try and attack him one-on-one. And I don't think they have as much success as you would normally think that they do, simply because he does a good job of putting himself in the right position to not allow that to happen as frequently as it would have done in his younger days. So here, he's got a drive coming one-on-one. What does he have? He doesn't go out to meet him here. He stays back. And so I like this one a lot better because he lets the offensive player come to him. If he wants to shoot a mid-range shot, you can give him the mid-range shot, But if he's going to try and get a layup, you want to wait and let him come to you and use your length where you have strength to create the potential turnover. I think the referee got the call wrong, but either way, he gets the block there. And then we get to the area I was most curious of, and this is something, frankly, the team spammed over and over and over again, and that was posting Jokić up. Jokić, when he was posting up, essentially the defense could do nothing to stop him, except when they literally double-teamed, and even sometimes when they double-teamed, he just had his way with the inside defenders. Him having this good of footwork and court awareness at this young of an age bodes so well. Like, that is unbelievably impressive for a 13-year-old to be doing that. And this is exactly what we say in the NBA is the exact same concept, is you use Jokic's inside presence to open up things on the outside for everyone else on your team. So because you have to respect them on the inside, they need to double. And I'm telling you, in this game, it was literally like 10 possessions in a row where they would just throw the ball into Jokić if they didn't have anything in transition, and Jokić just won the battles. Like, he had to have dropped 40 points in this game, something like that, maybe 30 points, but he shot unbelievably well. Anything inside the paint, he was absolute money. And then obviously one of the most crucial aspects is, first, you have to be able to create the advantage, which Jokić has done, and then you have to be able to exploit the advantage. So he gets the ball in the post. These two players, for some reason, decide to leave number 12 and sprint out here, and so that leaves 12 wide open, and Jokić is going to find him. At a young age, he still sees the ball unbelievably well. So we can see specifically, they're literally moving the ball around, spacing it out so that Jokić can get the ball in the post. And this is like, the fact that he's able to understand the game like this is so crucial. So first off, as this double happens initially, what does Jokić do? Before he's dribbled, he pump fakes, or he fakes like he's going to pass back out to Ford, just to give the defender to leave a little bit. Okay, see what he's going to do. And then once the defender decides to stay, Jokić does this little no-look version where he's looking over here so the defender doesn't realize he's spraying it back out to Ford. And so that's absolutely great, and Ford gets a clean look, although he misses pretty brutally. However, simply passing to one pass away, like, that's the easy pass. So if you can do that where you're looking across the court, I think that is far more impressive at a young age. So one, if he's not going to get the double, he's waiting. He's like, where's the double going to come from? And then I'll exploit that. So the double comes from the baseline. So that's going to mean that either this player in the corner over here or 12 is going to be the one open. I'm assuming 12 is not a great shooter because he's 4 feet inside of the three-point line. They're not spaced very much. However, Jokić still is able to identify the double has come. Now I can find who's open, and he makes a clean pass. 12 vacates, and so it does lead to another open shot because of Jokic's pass to the outside. And this is later in the game, somewhat with the game on the line. I think it's close, maybe tied at this point. But either way, so you have same thing. He's waiting for this player to double. And so I'm assuming the coach told them to do this is the player down here cuts down to the baseline. And so this is something you see much more with the Nuggets now, is you have cutters as soon as the double happens because it puts a lot of strain on the defense. So this player right here, as his player doubles, he's going to cut down here to the baseline. And Jokić notices that and puts a great pass, frankly, behind the back. I don't care if it's behind the back or whatever. It's a pass on time and on target, and it leads to an advantage for the offense. Although, again, I believe they missed the shot. And the final area that I actually didn't expect to see as much as I did is him one-on-one driving. So, like, post-ups, I knew he was going to be good. Like, you got to still be good. To be this good as he is now, he's got to be good back in the day as well. However, his drives, like, I didn't realize how, like, athletic he would be despite being potentially the slowest player on the court. Okay, so first off, uses the eyes, get the defender in the air. That's why defenders stay on your freaking feet. Stop jumping for that, especially if he hasn't made a three all game, you know. But Jokic is like, you're going to jump, I'm going to take advantage. Going downhill, uses a clean, first off, this dude is doing a good job sealing down here, but uses a clean 1-2, gets to the rim, and gets a great look at a layup. But Jokic understands this concept so well, using his first step to create the advantage. He knows he can't out sprint you for a long period of time, but he knows that he can beat you with his first step, and that's all it takes often. Okay, so this defender goes around. He's going to have one-on-one opportunity with this defender. All he's got to do is he beats him with his first step and then uses the body. Right there, that first step, and he's already equal with him. And then what does he do? He doesn't go away from him. He goes into him for the contact to create that little bit of separation and then finishes through the contact instead of going away from the contact. Absolutely love that. And same thing, if you give him the advantage, he's going to take advantage of it. 12 right here is reaching for the ball for some reason. So he's going to be out of position. Just, what are you doing? Reaching over the head like that is like, so you get Jokic going downhill, and even with help defenders, he's going to go through the contact, and he's got such a good stability that, like, with this contact, he stays on balance. You see how his head is focused, and the ball is squarely lined up. His whole body is rigid. He's able to maintain that balance even through the contact and gets a clean look again. And then finally we get to his rebounds, and again, I think this is kind of similar to his post play, similar to his defense, frankly, too, is he puts himself in the right position, and so as the ball is going to go up, he knows the rebound's going to go there, and despite having two defenders around, he is able to be physical and go get that ball, and then finish the rebound as well. And then finally we get to the single most impressive play I saw from Jokic. This blew my mind. This is something you don't even see from NBA players, let alone college players, let alone high school players, let alone however old he is in this game. And so as this ball is going to go up, we're going to see the rebound comes up. And this is like, first off, Jokic, what does he do? He's got great position, using his body to establish this location where he can go up and get a rebound if it comes down in this area. Ball comes up, and he's like, I don't have him. I think his left arm's actually maybe getting held right here even. I only have one arm. And the ability to have the the awareness, the touch, the feel of the game, to understand the trajectory of the ball, to simply go up and get that rebound and put that back in is absolutely unbelievable with one hand. That's just something you don't see, especially from a young kid like this. Like, that is unbelievably impressive. I really enjoyed making this recap of Jokic. This was like super interesting to go back and watch these players as they're developing, because obviously no one really thought he was going to be an NBA player at this point. Like, it's unbelievable to see. Beautiful. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to watch my video of LeBron in high school, feel free to check it out. I'll link it right here. But most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.